May, I got some kind of scratches. No one can say I'm the burn of the matrix. 9 each nails in the mind of beat, in the mind of ages. I was only 15, a money monkey from the nature.
Волнуешься?
Конечно. Ты типа спокойный? Nice to see you. Hey, hello.
Hey, are you alright?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, man.
You're a legend.
How you doing, alright?
I'm fine, yeah.
Yeah, send me.
Respect, bro.
It will take me like 7 minutes, like after the show, because I know that.
Yeah, so maybe if we do an interview after the show, is that cool?
Yeah.
So 3:15, we'll
Oh
see
my
you.
God. Всем привет, ребята! С вами Evis May, диджей, продюсер. Вместе со Scratch DJ School, диджей Эрик и нашим оператором Джонни мы готовим для вас офигительное новое шоу на нашем YouTube-канале, где мы будем врываться на самые офигенные тусовки в Москве. Сегодня мы на зимней постановке главного фестиваля, пропагандирующего ломаные ритмы. И, конечно же, я говорю о World of Drum&Bass. Здесь, в самом сердце столицы, на площадке Арена. Ребята с мировым уровнем устраивают 11-часовое шоу Andy C, The Prototype and Rush. Yes guys, hi again. So in one of the biggest drum and bass festivals here in Moscow, World of Drum&Bass, and right now I'm sitting next to Andrew Clark, and you know him as Andy C.
Yep.
Yeah. So Andrew, thank you very much for sharing your time with us, for finding the time to give me an
You're
interview.
welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. I'm here as the representative of Scratch DJ School, just to tell our students, about you, about your career, to ask you some questions. So, because it's very important, to share the secrets of success.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's start. So how we, Andrew just practically ended.
You can call me Andy.
Andy.
Yeah.
Andy. So
My mum calls me Andrew, but you can call me.
Andy finished his set maybe 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So how are you doing?
It was awesome. I mean, it's fantastic to be back in Moscow. The audience in Russia for drum and bass is just incredible, man. The energy, the vibe. I mean, there were people moshing on the right, there was people dancing over the balconies, there was people going crazy over the back to my left, there was people at the bar on the right. You build up a rapport with the audience. It was fantastic, man. It's a huge club, and yeah, real pleasure to be back.
Wow, that's nice to hear actually. You're a legend, so you have written the story of drum and bass, and you've changed it, I think that several times. I know that you are the best DJ in the world according to many awards.
You're very kind.
No, this is only facts. I'm telling you the facts.
Thank you.
Yes, and guys, it's really fantastic to sit near, so close to the legend, because I'm your fan. I really love what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I saw, I watching I follow you on Instagram, and I saw there your touring list, and it's really huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have dates, date after date after date, and different countries, different places, and I also know that you practice at least 20 hours per week, something like this. So where do you find the time for all this?
Well, the schedule is busy. I mean, last night we was in Prague, last week we was in Seville, Estonia, went skiing in between. I find the time, you have to find the time, but it's finding the time, and it's a way for me to take myself away, because I love mixing, I love music. Music is emotion for me, it reminds me of stuff. I like finding old tunes, and the amount of new tunes you get sent every week is quite incredible, so you have to be on top of it, and you have to practice, and you have to learn the new tunes. But it's like one of them things, I mean, you know, if you DJ yourself, it's like, you can go in there and think, I'm going to spend half an hour or an hour mixing, and then 4 hours later you're still on the decks and you're still mixing, because you just get wrapped up in this vibe, and you just go off on this like journey to discover music and discover mixes. And you might play the same tune 10 times for trying to find the perfect mix for it, you know, but it's practice, it's not a job, it's just what I do, you know. Like I've always, when I wanted to be a DJ, when I was hoping that one day I could play in a club, I used to basically get in from school and spend until maybe 2 a.m. mixing in my bedroom, and then go to bed and then get up for school, and then go to school, come home and do it all again. So it's part of the passion of my life. I mean, it's what drives me, you know. Somebody said to me, do you get sick of it? I was like, how can you get sick of it? You know, don't get me wrong, the travelling sometimes can get a little bit on top, it's tedious, but the vibe of being in control of an audience's, you know, journey and experience in a night is something unmatched. The natural high you get from seeing a crowd go crazy, hearing new tunes and thinking, oh, you know, that one went off, that mix worked, that maybe not, I'll need to work on that mix, you know, like Ton will always turn around to me and he'll be like, that's sick, what's that? And he'll be like, okay, remember that one, memorize that one, we can use that next week. And so my practice is split from at home, enjoying it, on the aeroplane, listening to new tunes, and then in the club. I mean, it's a constant, no one's ever played a perfect set, right? Yeah. You know, so it's like every set is like, okay, that really worked, and that was, and then we, you know, we try and carry that on through the week. And I always do think, you know, I've been doing it a long time, right? So it's like, you have a certain amount of tunes and you roll through them through the summer and you go throughout. And I'm like, this year especially, 2020, I mean, there's so many sick tunes, it's ridiculous trying to fit them all in the set. Tonight was a power hour, or what we call a power hour. It's like 60 minutes trying to smash out as many tunes as possible. Actually, the most difficult scenario for me to DJ in, because an hour is just not enough, to be fair. I mean, we did 2 hours last night in Prague, a couple of hours last week in Seville. My idea was 3, but don't tell the promoters, but I would play all night if they wanted me to. Do you know what I mean? The ideal scenario is like, the next DJ ain't turned up, can you keep going? And it's like, and you just keep going. So the practice is at home, on the planes, in the club. It's never perfected. You're always learning, you're always finding out how to not only mix the tunes, but feel the vibe of the crowd and work through a set. Set is peaks and troughs. You know, you've got to have your peaky moments where everyone's going crazy, but also the emotive moments where people are taking a little breather and a little step back to sort of absorb the night. Maybe have a look around, maybe see the lights going on, maybe see the crowd over there, maybe take in the surroundings they're in, you know? Because these kind of nights are very special, you know. We all, you know, people, some people wait a long time to come out to these kind of events. It's not every week like it is for me. It might be once a year, and I have to appreciate that. Ton appreciates that, and the main thing for us is doing our best, smashing out the party as best we can, but learning from it and taking it into next week.
Yes, and this is only about DJing, but you're also like a legend in a production. You're also a great producer, and I know that you use that you're not using one though. You use like many of them. Yes, you can choose only one.
I like Cubase.
Cubase.
Yeah. I mean, I started out. When I started, Cubase didn't exist. It was Pro 24 on Steinberg, and I rolled with that. Then Cubase was invented, and then I moved on to Logic for a while in like the 2000s. But then I've come back to Cubase, so that's my vibe now. It's just where you feel at home. I mean, to be fair, I'm sure there are possibly better, more user-friendly doors out there, but it's just a case of time of learning, isn't it? You know, there's not enough hours in the day. It's like if you want to do everything, you just have to say, right, that's my lane. You know, that's what I'm going to do. If you want to do the DJ and the label, normal life, family,
Yes, normal.
And producing, you know, and sleep. Don't forget
Yes.
sleep and eat. That has to come into it as well.
It's
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Man, they nailed it with that statement, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so and about production, I wanted to ask. So, how much time does it take to produce the track from the very start to the end?
They can all be different. I mean, you know, 4 hours. All the best tunes happen quickly, to be fair. 4 hours, Long Dark Tunnel was 4 hours.
Even mastering and mixing.
No, not mastering nowadays. It's a different ball game nowadays. You know, the intensity of the mix downs and the level of production has just got onto almost, you know, it's almost overkill, to be honest. I mean, the sonics, don't get me wrong, the crowd really appreciate it, but from a producing angle, it can absorb you to the point where you forget about actually writing a good tune. You know, actually writing a memorable, you know, tune that people can identify with. Our best tunes back in the day, you know, in the 90s, 4 hours, 1 day. And the thing was, there was no recall, so when you finished the tune, there was a mixing desk, you'd record it onto that, and is the tune finished? And you'd all go, yeah, it kind of feels finished. Finish it. And you just bring down all the faders on the mixer, and you just like, right, we can't go back to that, we can't revisit it, it's done, it is what it is. Whereas nowadays, because the tune is kind of never finished, really, it's always perpetually living and like, oh, tweak this, tweak that, tweak that. I know people, and I do it myself, even once a tune is released, you might go in and just alter a couple of things because you're not happy with, you know?
The result, like, and then we call it remastered version or something like that.
Yeah, a little VIP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Little remaster, little VIP. So that's where we're at. But I say unfortunately, it's not unfortunate, but the level is so high that you do have to possibly overthink the sonics and the you know, there's a science to it and there's also an expression.
Yeah.
It's balancing the creative with the science. And if you can do that, then you're on the right path, you know?
Yes. So, but there are so many, you know, DJs and producers today, yes? And when we got, you know, all those computers, and we need only computer to produce, like, music. We have, like, this super, how to say this, stuff, like, for DJing, like, yes, you know? And how to be unique? How to get success when there is so much, you know?
Well, you know, the uniqueness is going to come out of the writing and the expression and the creativity, you know? That for me, you know, that's where the uniqueness is going to come from. The mix downs are great, you know, all the mix downs are great, you play them in the club. People forget that when you're mixing, when you're a DJ, you have a gain control on the mixer, so if a tune's not mixed down loud enough, you can turn it up.
Yeah.
So forget about that in the studio, you know. But listen, if I can just backtrack a bit, I think there are so many amazingly sick tunes out there right now, and drum and bass has so many facets to it, so many sides to it, whether it be the more mellower side, the emotion side, or the tough, you know, gritty in the dance side. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's been a slow burn, and that's what's led us onto this longevity. We got, you know, nearly 30 years. Because there's so many sides to it, and it's entrenched in cultures all around the world, you know. And you know, we come to Russia, we turn up tonight, massive crowd, great, very receptive to all the different tunes, all the DJs, you know. And yeah, you can appreciate the sonics, but I love the creativity as well.
All right, yeah, I got it. What will be your advice, like, for the students of Scratch DJ School who are just studying right now, like, who are even thinking to what to do, like, they want to become a DJs or producers, but for example, a wife or friends or parents, or for example, you know, that I don't know.
What's my advice for them?
Yes. And
well, the advice is, you know, like, take your passion and run with it, man. You know, like, spend the hours in the bedroom, spend the hours on the computer, learning it, going with it. Be hungry, you know, be passionate. You know, you've got to get out there, you've got to meet people, you've got to put yourself in people's faces. You know, it's not going to come to you, you have to run to it, right? And you've got to get your tunes out there, you've got to meet people. And at RAM, we've always done that, always brought people through. But, you know, it's not going to be for everyone, it's not going to work for everyone, you know, but passion goes a long way. Being, you know, having humility when you meet people, you know, our scene is a very welcoming scene, it's a fantastic community all around the world. As you've seen tonight, you know, I just got given this tonight by a guy on stage, and like, his passion is like, I've come to see you play, you know, I'm going to give you this. It's like, that's a beautiful thing, man, that's wonderful, you know, I'm going to remember,
nice.
I'm going to remember this from Moscow for forevermore. You know, and he said he was making tunes, so I'm like, yeah, give me your address, send me some tunes, you know, like, my advice is just have the, you know, have the passion. Don't think that you want to stand on a, you know, stand on a table with some turntables and put your hands in the air and like, it's all going to come to me, fame and fortune. It's not, it don't work like that. But I think the drum and bass scene is built on a core passion, feeling and emotion. And so, you know, once you feel it, you know, go with it, work it, send your tunes out. We're all available. The thing is, all the producers these days, we're all available on social media. So, you know, just send your tunes out, and I do listen to everything, so send them over, you know, and you never know.
Hey guys, you got a chance.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you very much for the interview. That was
You're welcome.
really nice talking. So guys, send him tunes.
Send me tunes, you know, let's get some new beats.
Be positive and passion.
Yeah, on all socials. Hound, hassle, send the tunes, get in people's faces, keep sending the tunes. And we listen every week, and you never know, you know, we'll play them. And passion is everything in this scene. Passion is everything, man.
So
Stick
next
at
week
it.
we're gonna get the email from Evis May.
Yeah,
This is me.
cool. Peace, thank you. Good luck. Thank you.